This is Garrett from Back to Brick, and this is my first entry into Bricklink Designer Program Series 5. So as you can see, it's got some honeybees, so you might wonder, well, maybe it has something to do with that, and you're not wrong. This is called the Buzzing Bricks Honey Shed, and we've got some main models here similar to, well, such as the shed, some honeybee hives, and of course my minifigure. We're going to zoom in on each detail so we can look at some of the design aspects and talk about the overall build and why I chose it. So first we'll talk about my minifigure. This is similar to what I look like. I have got red hair. I have a beard now, but I didn't put it on the minifigure, just a smiling face. A couple of the utensils that we have an upside down cup with a brick here, the angular hollowed brick, to have as a smoker, similar to what we saw in the collectible minifigure series Beekeeper, and then some gloves and the suit itself to protect me from, well, the honeybees. And this is my helmet slash visor, because it doesn't come with the screened one that we saw in the collectible minifigure series in the Bricklink Designer program. Now we'll move on to our second little section here, the beehives. What I like about the beehive section is, well, of course, the little hives themselves. We've got one of the container boxes that has a force support system that has the openings so the honeybees can get in and out of their hive. There is a stud in the middle, which gives me the ability to build on top of it to have my next box. And honeybee boxes have stacked systems where you can, of course, take out the hive pieces and get to the honey, and they store their nectar. And of course, I wanted to have a honeybee flying in and out of the hive. When you have the bottom section, it's usually on stilts to keep it away from ground animals and insects. So I use these couple little rounded 1x1 bar handles underneath that'll clip into 4 little clips on the bottom. I did a total of 3 of them. One actually has the bee box off, and all these bees are flying around. You'll wonder what this little red brick is and the gray brick. Those are to hold down the lids because there's no connection point, it just kind of sits on top. So you want to hold them down. You can remove that so that they don't blow away or anything. Now, the final section is our shed. And what I like about my shed is the color. I really enjoy that the posts are in this kind of bluish sky blue color. And it's the medium azul color. And then the overall shed is yellow because it's just bright. I think it adds a little bit of pop instead of just a standard white shed or gray shed that you might see. There's a couple small details, of course. We've got our doorway, but then on each end we've got the different white posts and some layering to each of the walls. Some do not have as much because they only make these door rail plates in 1x2s instead of 1x1s. It'd be really nice if they did that. And then we've got a few windows, 2 standard tall windows. One is a shuttered window and none on this side. The flower boxes, of course, are all around on the windows, and there's some honeybees flying around there. We have this little gnome, which I think is a cute little gnome that is similar and matching to the house. He's got a little fork as his little rake or broom to enjoy and have a nice gardened area. Then you'll see all around there's going to be a bunch of different types of flowers, honeybees going all around and collecting nectar and producing their honey. Then we have in the back here a couple sunflowers that I think were just necessary having them next to the posts because they're going to grow tall, tall, and tall so that we can see them over the fence pieces. Now the fence, I loved using these ski poles as a fence. It gives that same angular design at the top, and the coloring is really just, I think, fun. Nice aspect to it overall. And then we'll move to the back side of the shed. The roof system here, the roof system is pretty standard, just a slope roof that doesn't overhang to it. And then inside, we're going to have a couple fun little honeybee details. One in specific is this little rounded section that actually is a honey extractor. The honeycombs, as you can see in here, get spun around to kind of fling the honey along the walls, and they drip down, and then the honey is collected and put into jars. So over here we've got a couple jars. One is empty and the other two are full of honey. So our honeybees are producing quite a bit of honey. And then we've got one of the honeycomb sections here with the 3 honeycomb I guess, what are the frames? Excuse me, they're called frames. And then we've got a honey stick, one that you would dip into the honey, kind of get that honeycomb style and see. Well, I mean, it's the iconic little tool that you would use in honey. And then on the wall here, we've got a lab coat or a bee suit with, since they didn't have a standard piece and I didn't want to hang another minifigure body to it. That was a brick built one. And then there's the second side of the fence. Now, overall, I wanted to build this because my wife and I really got into honeybees recently and learning about them, took a class at our community college, and maybe we'll become beekeepers one day. And I thought it would be a fun little set to have, nothing too large for the Bricklink design program, and have a ton of these little honeybee 1x1 tiles, because I think that they just add some real fun characteristics and just whimsical aspects to a Lego build. So I hope you enjoyed the Buzzing Bricks Honey Shed, because I really enjoyed building it. It could be a fun addition to anyone's summer and springtime sets, and just a nice display piece for any honeybee owners and beekeepers all over the world.